Hi, my name is Aya, and in this video, I will be discussing the fascinating structure of the brain and its many parts, using the model that I've constructed. The brain is a complex 3-pound organ packed with captivating functions, all of which allow us as human beings to interpret information being brought from the outside world and react accordingly. Brains enable us to remember certain things, control our thoughts and emotions, allow us to move our arms and legs, and so much more. The central nervous system, or CNS for short, consists of the brain and spinal cord. Since the spinal cord comprises of a bundle of nerves, it transmits messages from your body to your brain. Like I mentioned earlier, the complexity of the brain and its structure is far too intricate to explain, but the parts of the organ can be divided into separate categories. To begin with, the brain can be divided into 4 lobes: the frontal lobe, which is the orange part that can be seen on my model, the parietal lobe, which is the light green area, the occipital lobe, which is the light blue region, and the temporal lobe, which is the purple region. All 4 lobes are significant for both the brain and your well-being. The frontal lobe is the largest area of the cerebral cortex, which is a collection of specific areas found in the brain. It is located behind the eyes and at the top front part of the brain. The frontal lobe is responsible for many functions and plays a critical role in our everyday life. Some of its roles include maintaining emotional control, pursuing goals, and abstract thinking. In other words, this lobe is significant for cognitive thinking and voluntary movement. Other areas found in this lobe are Broca's area. Moving on to the second lobe, the parietal lobe is located behind the frontal lobe at the top of the brain. This lobe's function can primarily be divided into 2 functional regions: sensation and perception. Regarding sensation, the parietal lobe contains the sensory cortex, which is vital for receiving incoming touch sensations from the rest of your body. This lobe is responsible for perceiving and processing sensory input. The occipital lobe is located toward the very back of the brain. This area of the brain can be classified as a visual processing region. One of its major functions is to interpret messages from our eyes in the visual cortex. The occipital lobe is affiliated with distance and depth perception, facial recognition, color determination, and memory development. The retina sends impulses to the visual cortex to be interpreted. The last lobe going to be discussed today is the temporal lobe. The temporal lobe is located behind the ears and is considered the second largest lobe. The main function of this lobe is to process sound perceived by the ears and to translate memory. First, sound waves are processed by your ears and converted into neural impulses. They are then being interpreted by the sound waves that take place in the auditory cortices. Sound is perceived by your left ear and is then processed in the auditory cortices of both the left and right hemispheres. The next couple of parts I'm going to be talking about are all part of the limbic system, including the amygdala, hippocampus, hypothalamus, and the thalamus. The hypothalamus is the green structure located on the model. It's responsible for various functions, all pertaining to biological rhythms and emotions, some of which include body temperature, hunger, thirst, the endocrine system, and more. The hypothalamus is also involved in controlling your sexual arousal levels. The thalamus is a pink circular structure located on the model. Its role and job is to receive sensory signals arriving from the spinal cord and sending them to their designated areas in the forebrain. The amygdala is the dark blue region on the model, and the hippocampus is the maroon area on the model. Both parts are located very close to each other and often interact with each other when needed to interpret emotions into specific outcomes. The amygdala is responsible for processing and inputting emotion. As for the hippocampus, it specializes in our memory system. However, memories are not stored in this area. Rather, they are inputted into the hippocampus and then transmitted into other areas of the cerebral cortex. The corpus callosum is the baby pink region located in the center of the model. This part of the brain acts as a bridge between both the left and right hemispheres. The corpus callosum is made up of a thick bundle of nerve fibers. Its main function is to allow both sides of the brain to send signals to each other and communicate in order to allow one to function normally. Damage to this region can lead to mental disorders. The midbrain is the baby pink region located toward the end of the model. This region is responsible for many crucial functions as it is a part of the forebrain. Some of the functions the midbrain is associated with are motor control, sleep cycles, and sensory perceptions in general, such as hearing and vision. One structure that is specialized in general body arousal and attention span is a reticular formation. The cerebellum is a lavender area located at the rear bottom of the model. Its main function and role is to coordinate muscle movements. When the cerebellum receives information from sensory systems, it regulates motor movements such as balance, speech, posture, and more. The fornix is a brown area on the model. Since the fornix is located very near to the hippocampus, its main function is to transmit information received from the hippocampus to the anterior nuclei of the thalamus. The medulla, also known as medulla oblongata, is a yellow region on the model. It is responsible for regulating autonomic functions such as our heart rate, breathing, blood pressure, and more. The pons is a yellow region located right above the medulla. This area is responsible in primarily controlling facial expressions, sleep, eye movement, equilibrium, posture, and so much more. Like I said before, the brain is an organ packed with so much complexity, only compelling researchers today to discover more and more about it. There is still so much to unravel about this remarkable organ. Thank you for watching.